The following show is a paid program.
Hey family, how you doing today? I have the best of the best in the building with me. We have Alton G. Cooper, abstract artist and three-time stroke survivor. It says Alton G. Cooper went from stroke victim to being and the artist that strokes. Hey my friend, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. And yourself?
Man, I read your story and I was, whoa. I said, wow.
That makes two of us.
Yeah. Let's get started. Let's just get started on just along the way what happened.
Yes. For me, it started at the age of 17.
Yeah.
First, stroke that is, and the high school.
Right.
Go to the doctor, mild stroke, partially paralyzed, lips, face, eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Then we moved forward to 2002.
Wow.
Which came the other stroke that basically came from a heat-related incident.
Mm-hmm.
But when I say heat-related, it comes from, it came from as far as something that was already on the brain, okay? Mm-hmm. Go to the gravesite, 12 noon August, go home, drop my mom off, go home. Heat-related, basically, woke up the next morning and my right side was paralyzed. I still go to work out to the Summer J. I used to ship explosives for a living, right? Drive over an hour to work, get to work, see the company nurse. They do their tests, and basically they say, well, you got to go to the hospital. But I wasn't about to go to no Angleton Hospital at the time, right? So my cousin...
And you were, wait a minute, going back to this, just to understand that at 17, you had a mild stroke.
Yes.
Then you have gone to the grave site of your father.
Yes.
Your father's grave site.
In 99, yes.
In 99. This
yes.
is 99, okay? And then coming from there, you were saying it was heat-related.
It was heat-related. It's August.
Yeah.
In
Texas.
In Texas.
Yeah.
Definitely in Texas. Meaning to say that, no hat on, and then come to find out the hard way years later that the skull holds heat, like stone, right? And the stone holds heat, it fries the brain, just like you would in a frying pan, like an egg. So, and that's what it does to the brain. It basically damage the brain in certain ways. It triggers some of the blood cells blood vessels that is, to say, this is not how we're going to work today, right?
Wow.
So if those blood vessels are not sending certain signals to certain parts of the brain, guess what? You're not going to use your arm, leg, eyes, lips, or whatever. So
and we could be just sitting out here outdoors, both of us, not hair.
Yes.
No hair covering it.
Yeah, lately I have got my little 10-minute tan. But, yes, I do. You learn better, and you do better.
Right.
From basically that. So now when I go outside, your brother has a hat on now.
Right, you covered the skull.
Yes, indeed.
But you drive. You wake up that day.
Yes, I woke up that morning and my right side was partially paralyzed, like I said. And you say, okay, I'm, living alone, got to go to work. So
us guys,
the
ladies are like, we got to go to the hospital.
No, and see, that's the main thing about it.
I'm partially paralyzed. I can't move around. You driving. You get in the car, you driving to work.
I'm driving from Greenspoint all the way to Rose Sharon.
Right.
So you take that drive.
That's what is that, hour, 45 minutes?
It was, before the whole big tollway thing and, stuff like that. So, you have your music. Thank God for music. But definitely got there, and I know something wrong, but I said I'm gonna go get it checked out.
Right, at the nurse.
At the plant, Summer J itself, right? So they do their test. Like I said, before I got back to my building, they had brought the company ambulance to the building.
Wow.
So I was like, but we're going to take you to Angleton. No, no, thank you. So my first cousin, Kirby, called him, asked him would he come down to, take me to the doctor. And that's a blessed thing about family,
right?
Called and they come, right? And he came, picked me up, dropped me off at St. Joseph, and they did their tests and this and that. And the next day, come out to find out that I had to go get an MRI. And from there, that's when they found what they found on the brain. So that's what triggered to the first brain surgery. So that's when they had to cut in the back of your cerebellum part of your brain, take out a bone, patch it up, hold it up, and all that to be, put back into place. So it's like taking, how can I say this? Imagine someone taking all of your teeth out with no painkiller.
That's how it felt.
That's how it felt, right? You
felt this?
Yeah, I felt it the next 10 hours later, in which the surgery went, overtime, because the surgery took longer than expected. Family friend there, my aunt, Kirby's mother, my aunt Leola, and basically we had, like I said, went in overtime, and my mother was there and sisters and that, but it lasted longer than expected.
They're inside your brain.
They literally inside my brain. So
they cut into to the skull.
They're the back part of the brain, yes. So when I say you wake up and basically you had no idea, first of all, you laying on your stomach. You laying on this pillow, and they forgot to tell you that you're gonna have this tube down your throat, and basically you wake up and all of a sudden you can't move a centimeter. You can't breathe. If you breathe, and you asking for water, your mouth is dry because of the tube and this and that. But every time you move, the pain is so unbearable. To put it short story, my main doctor thought I was the nicest person in the world until the pain hit.
Yeah.
I became a different person.
Right.
Yeah. I wasn't. Yeah. No, I wasn't a nice guy.
Right.
And
this pain feels like what?
If I would take a pair of grip pliers and pull on one of your nerves,
right,
that's what it felt like.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was just the first brain surgery.
And how long did that last? That you were in the hospital, you're having to deal with this, you're on your stomach. How long is that? That lasted for overnight, but I say the reason why I say that is because one of the nurses that was there that next morning, because she noticed a difference in me, where that it was because of the morphine button. Right.
Yeah, the painkiller itself.
Right.
Because after getting to the room and they hooking you up and putting all the system, for that button for you to hit that pain.
That pain.
I became a calmer person. Yeah. So I had no idea medication can do something.
Right. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was. I was there for about a week and 2 weeks max for this episode.
Right.
But yeah.
Were you still paralyzed at that time?
I was partially.
You came out of surgery.
When I came out of surgery, I was not paralyzed at all.
Right.
And that in itself, like I said, I stayed at Methodist for over a week and a half. I had good care, got well taken care of, family took care of me. I was good.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, now we have a third one coming.
Yeah. From 2002 to 2007.
Right. So you were 38 at that time.
Yes.
Now you were coming to 43.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah. And basically, it was a beautiful day. The morning after a double date, Houston Astro game, and the next day was Father's Day morning. I do remember getting off the phone with my daughter. We were going to have dinner and breakfast that morning. But basically, you showering, you shaving, and all of a sudden, this pain hits. When I mean a pain, it takes out the whole left side right then and there. When I mean just gone, everything turns into 10,000 pounds, right? But at the time, it was where that, imagine someone hitting you in the back of the head with a hammer every 3 seconds, right? So the man version came in again. I called my girlfriend at the time, right? She heard me screaming because as I was on the phone with her, the pain was still coming.
Right.
She said, get off the phone, dial 911. I dialed 911 and basically talked to the dispatcher, and the door, she said, the door going to be unlocked. I said, yes, ma'am. And basically the door became, I lived in my house at the time, it became like a football field.
Right.
It was just that, it felt like that far away, right? So made it to the door, and I know who got me to that door. I know the Lord got me to that door, unlocked the door.
Because you're paralyzed.
The left side is gone.
Right.
Okay, and
so this is, dragging your body.
Yes.
Because you only have just one side.
One side, pouring sweat, just out of nowhere.
Right.
And, getting weaker by the second.
Exactly.
Make it to the door, unlock the door, make it to the TV room, and I end up collapsing on the floor.
Right.
Excuse me. Where that you can hear the paramedics.
Yeah.
They get to the door, you can hear them knock on the door. So I'm laying on the floor. My system had beginning to shut down completely.
Right.
So I don't even have enough strength to say, come in.
Right.
So that's when you talk to God as if we're talking right now.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Talking to God to say, you help me, Lord, you help me get this for it, or you're going to let me lay here and die. Right? I kid you not. No sooner than I asked that question, somebody opened the door.
Wow.
Paramedic comes in. I'm still laying on the floor. Mr. Cooper, are you, and they ask me questions. Are you on any drugs and medication? I'm like, no. Barely speaking. Then for some reason, that made me turn green, where that, Mr. Cooper, you're going to give us a hand on getting up onto the stretcher. I'm like, if I'm on the floor,
right?
How can I get in the stretcher? But, they put me in that, ambulance, and basically before they even turned the corner, I was puking up and this and that, and they said that he must be bleeding out.
Uh-huh.
And basically, I remember vaguely telling them Methodist, and they took me to Methodist. Made it there. My girlfriend at the time, Kim, she called my family and friend was there. And basically, they, everyone came, waiting room full to say, for the doctor to come out and say, we don't think he's going to make it to the morning.
Right.
Right. And for that to be said, they came in the room individually, in the emergency section, that is. I remember my older sister, she was sitting, she said she was sitting by my side, and she was talking to me, and the nurse asked her, who are you talking to? She said, I'm talking to my brother. Well, he can't hear you. She said, well, you don't know my brother, right? Basically, I have a tube down my throat, eyes closed shut. I'm still paralyzed on the left side completely. Unconscious, basically. So I snapped my right finger. And like I wanted something to write with. So she puts a pencil in my hand. She grabs a pad, she holds the pad. I'm able to write legibly enough to say, or to respond to what I'm hearing, right? And goes back to say that, despite what people might think, people can still hear you even in an unconscious state, right? So I wrote some things down. Then other family members came into the room. One of my first cousins, we have this certain type of relationship where that I say something smart or whatever, and based on what I wrote, she was like, "Oh, well, he's gonna be fine. He's good." Just about there again, I'm writing all of this with a tube down my throat, eyes closed shut. Family members thought I was like going bye-bye.
Right.
But after they saw what I was doing, it gave them hope.
Right.
Yeah.
So with your eyes closed shut, and we're at that point now, okay? You're able to write just, legibly just a little bit. When was it that you opened your eyes? When were you able to see them and respond with, to them?
It was several. I was in a drug-induced coma, probably
Right.
about 2 or 3 days.
Okay, because they're trying to take the pressure
Yeah,
off.
they're trying to take the pressure off, and basically it was a few days after that, and there again, family members coming over you,
Right.
coming to you to. I remember my aunt and people praying over me while I
Right.
was in ICU,
Uh-huh.
right? And I took that to say, before the prayer came in, and they came in, that is, what I'm trying to say is that the medication that they had me on
Uh-huh.
made me hallucinate real bad,
Right.
right? Until this one Indian male from India, doctor, I called him like, he was like an angel for me, right? Because
Uh-huh.
he corrected the medication,
Right.
right? Took the pain away, took away the hallucination, and made it a whole lot better.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, and I saw him years later and gave him a big hug.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. That is something. Let's look at Alton. Let's look at a video of him as far as abstract art. That looks great, my friend.
Thank
so
you.
looking at that timeline, that was 2007,
Correct.
okay?
Yes.
But in 2008, it says Alton G. Cooper art has been around since 2008.
Correct. It was one of my first paintings, I would say. You know, is where that I was challenged. My girlfriend at the time, she saw art as a form of therapy for me.
Right.
Right. I used to go to Tears for therapy,
Yeah.
and then, how can I say this? Metro Lift used to be my limo service.
Right.
I call it, right? So they had a flyer out, and they had over at the Multiplex Service Center, they had every Thursday that you would have art class, right?
Uh-huh.
I already had started painting. She bought me my first art set
Right.
and took it from there. And she would, you know, she was a flight attendant. She would say that I'm leaving. I want to see something when I get back.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, I'm sitting home alone.
You're not working.
You're not working. You can't work. And I did not get into Tears at the proper time that I was supposed to.
And this is rehabilitation.
Yes.
For your rehabilitation.
Correct. I was supposed. I spent 3 months in Methodist. Basically, I was released in August. I was supposed to went 2 Tears the week after.
Right.
Due to insurance, not paying fully. I had to take it upon myself to do things to learn how to walk and talk on my own. Okay, meaning to say that before I got here, I was doing one of the advice that was given to me from one of my aunts, where that chewing wads of bubble gum because my speech wasn't up to par or much less talking period.
Right.
All right. You'd be surprised at what the brain really controls because if it does not send that signal,
Right.
you won't be able to open your mouth.
Right.
Right. So, but one of the things that I did when I had my home, I had a pecan tree in the front yard and backyard. It was, fall. Take the rake, and basically, it became my self dance, as you call it. Rake 1-2 step. Rake 1-2 step.
Yeah.
So the rake became my cane. Right. But I went from wheelchair to walker to cane. But
Wow.
I was still in Tears. I was still using the walker. But definitely, I met a lot of interesting people, look at life in a whole different way.
Right.
Military background, people that came back from Iraq, from roadside bombing, people that had accidents, that had lost their legs or diabetes. So you're in there with a lot of different people. But then, like I said, with the Multiplex Service Center, it offered the art class with people with disability as well, right? And the amazing part about that story was that I say life can come full circle, because I had not taken art class since junior high, right, back at Hartman. Was in a class with disability people as well. So from junior high to the age of 43, full circle with people that would have disability. But for me, I didn't see disability, because some of those people that had so-called disability had some amazing skill. The first person that I learned from about being an artist was the person I was sitting next to that couldn't stand to be touched, but eventually she allowed me to joke and touch with her or whatever. But she said, by signing your name on this, you're an artist now.
There you go. Let's do this. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. Mr. Alton G. Cooper.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages. The Cam Hill Show. If you'd like to advertise your business or become a sponsor, contact the Cam Hill Show at gmail.com.
I'm a part of the Prenatal Care Club now, taking all my STD tests.
Did you know your doctor's required by law to test you 3 times for syphilis and HIV?
Yes, my husband and I are making sure I get all 3 tests.
Good. Testing is the key to preventing congenital syphilis.
And good prenatal care is your first labor of love.
Glad to hear your husband is so involved.
Thank you. Yes, taking all my STD tests for syphilis is important to both of us. My prenatal promise is to prevent a stillbirth or miscarriage. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
We are in this together now. Now we have the tools to overcome this challenge. Social distance, wash your hands, get tested, and wear a mask. And we will. I have no doubts. Because I believe in we. Better together.
Amazing things for you.
People, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? My favorite barbers, What's up, ladies? What's going on? Hey, I'm bringing this affirmation, man, this new shave serum, man. Listen, a 2-in-1 shave serum, all natural product, man. Bamboo extract that help you with the pseudofolliculitis. And for layman's terms, that's the razor bumps that you got on your neck. It also has, man, the eucalyptus. And Miss Otis, I know you can use some of that. I was in here last week, man. You cut one of your clients so bad, man, the dude needs staples. But no, seriously, hey, where did it? Who got the bottle? Hey, Big Nate, man, that don't work on your feet. Man, give me my bottle back. But like I was saying.
Excuse me, does this work on ladies?
Yes, ma'am, it does work for ladies.
Can you show me how to use it?
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, how do we get it? LawsLaboratory.com. If you want some. If you want some. If you want some.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month. Both for 39 monthlies with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 0.9% APR for 72 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. Ron Carter Cadillac.com.
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, family, we are back with Mr. Alton G. Cooper. We were just talking about together about just life in itself.
Yes.
And then how this happened to you and what happened as far as being a dreamer You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
And then you made what they say, lemons. You made lemonade
Yes.
out of these lemons,
Yes.
right?
Yes, most definitely. And for myself, never went to school for it. Never went to school for art.
Right.
But to have that self-motivation,
Right.
you know, you have your dream, but you have to make your dreams into action, put them into action.
Right.
Right. And there again, I reached out here, I did this by creating, first of all, doing something what you love.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one, right? I was doing something that was a gift that was given to me or opened the doors for me to do, right? I had artwork at home on the floor when I was renovating my home, but for some reason, I always said to myself, this before the aneurysm, I can do better. Don't know why, but I said, God has a sense of humor. Then after that, I'm doing my own artwork.
Right.
So to do something and get up off your butt, and I say that because my dad used to say that, you know,
Right.
you can sit, you know, he used to suffer from epilepsy and seizures, but he's like, but to see a big man fall and but get back up,
right,
that's what's instilled inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody has that, and it's about the people that you're surrounded with.
Right.
But it also starts by looking in the mirror, listening to yourself, meditation, take your time for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and to say, okay, I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to understand, there was no one there to say, okay, you do this, you do this,
Right.
you do that, right?
Right. You're at home by yourself.
I'm at home by myself, right? So you keep, like I said, for me, I was continuous creating.
Uh-huh.
Then
First, you were in a wheelchair.
Yes.
And being in a wheelchair, at this point, you're at home by yourself.
Did not want to get it. I got to say this. That wheelchair did not make it to my front door.
Right.
But yeah, I went, and the whole part about the wheelchair, I put that in the garage. That whole terminology, you fall, but you get back up.
Yes.
I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
Because I used the walker, but I didn't want the wheelchair.
Right.
So I fell a lot at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your self-pride has been tested so many times.
Right.
Either you have the humble part in you,
right,
and it's there, and you grow. And I would say that it growed for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So, but definitely, the part about excuse me, is where that as far as you starting something, knowing that you have a talent. It could be sewing,
right,
painting, paperwork, finances, whatever. I don't care if you're cleaning a car, cutting a yard. Guess what? There are things out there that needs to be done. If that's your skill, let your skill shine.
Yes.
Right? Versus you just, well, I'm going to let somebody else do that. I'm not going to do this and that. If I would have just gave up,
right,
I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Mm-hmm.
Much less have accomplished this, did this, or
walking.
Literally
walking.
Driving. I remember the first day. When I went on to talk about the first day I drove. I mean, the first day I drove, it was crazy. I thought I had it under control. I thought I was going to get back behind the wheel. They just say the car went in a different direction because your equilibrium,
yes,
is way off.
Uh-huh.
So yeah.
Yeah. No. And just to understand that, going back, we're letting people paint that picture that you first go into the hospital paralyzed.
Mm-hmm.
You've just had surgery.
Yes.
3 months later.
Yes.
You're coming out.
Yes.
Insurance has not provided you rehabilitation immediately.
Correct.
You're in a wheelchair.
Yes.
Your girlfriend has to leave. She's got to go back to work. She's got to fly. She's left you with, the project as far as painting, but you're in a wheelchair.
Yes. Yeah. And that in itself is where that, like I said.
You've taken care of yourself all these years. You have a house. You have a great job.
Yep.
You have great, your car and everything. But now.
Your independence has been stripped.
There you go.
Yeah. And as for
us as men.
Us as men.
Yes.
Not a good thing.
Right.
I mean, not to say it's good for anybody, but it's just the fact that to be stripped away from a male.
Yes.
Needing assistance.
That's it.
The assistant part, getting to the basics.
Bathroom,
washing, cleaning.
Yes.
all of the stuff that, you know, you take for granted.
And you have to ask for help.
You have to ask for help. And guess what? Your pride be like,
yeah. Because you're sitting in there with your bladder.
yeah. You can be prideful if you want to.
You're going to be sitting in the puddle.
Yes, indeed. You know, that's the thing with in Methodist Hospital, as far as being bathed on a constant, on a regular, because the first time I was able to shower myself, and that's one of the reasons why I still have a constant ringing in my ear to this day. You finally get in the shower. It's hot. I'm sorry, but it's where when you get out, you know how they have the hospital freezing cold, right? And you sneeze and your ears pop, and it's never been the same since.
Wow.
Yeah. So your independence gets taken away.
Yeah.
Your, how can I say it? Your personal belief in yourself drops dramatically.
Right. Depression.
Yeah. But as I was there for 3 months, one of the stations that I would keep it on was on a gospel channel, right? So God was talking to me in many different ways.
Absolutely. Depression sets in.
Yeah. So, but to get yourself out of that and not to go down that road, or say, oh, you come to the crossroad, and you say, okay, I'm not gonna go that way. I'm gonna go this way.
Right.
And that's where I decided to go the other way, the right way. So my path has been, in an art way of saying it, in a colorful way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bright colors, that is.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that. Let's look at some of the art that you have. That's beautiful. Some beautiful art. Let's talk about some of it, these pieces.
That particular piece there is called Wake Up. That was my first, basically that painting there is on a queen size sheet. I had a wake up idea and say paint right now. Usually I would prep, but something said paint now. I set up my camera. You know, I would have my paint close, but I didn't. I just grabbed some paint. Usually I pick up my colors, but no, I just grabbed and started painting and let the brush flow.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So what we'll do is we'll just see just different ones, but where do you get a lot of your inspiration?
I would definitely say, for one, starter with music. Definitely music. I do not do a lot of news, but I do, engage in intelligent conversations, so you get information from here and there. From other people's personal life and history, and you want to tell a story, and that's what I'm striving to go for now.
Absolutely. You do a lot of things. What I love is we were talking about plexiglass and things like that.
It's called, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And then so talk about that.
Yeah, I came up on, it's called reverse glass painting, where I take the glass and paint on the back of the glass.
Yes.
And then how I came up on it is where that I didn't have any more canvases, right? I was like, I want to paint real bad, right? So I saw a piece of glass there. I'm like, why not?
Right.
And basically by saying why not, I challenged myself to try it. It took me about 5 to 6 years to perfect it, because it taught me more about patience when it comes down to painting on glass, because it's a very detailed, tedious project.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So those, and I learned the definition of the technique that I do by watching a documentary on Picasso.
Wow.
Because I saw him paint on back of glass when, took a brush, and I'm just like, what is the correct title? And that's how I found out. Because I would call it just painting on back of glass, but it's called reverse glass painting. Yes.
It was called reverse glass painting.
Yes. But yes.
I like that. And in looking at what you've learned along the way, you are a 3-time stroke victim survivor.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, for myself, 3 strokes, 3 brain surgeries. Back when we were as one, as people, I can say that.
Yeah.
Strive for stroke walk.
Right.
we used to do the Strive for Stroke walk, right? Over at Rice, Rice University, and basically ran into a lady that I used to push around at tears. She was in a wheelchair.
And you pushing her?
I'm pushing her. And to see her years later at the Strive for Stroke walk, and how I came up on her, the lady in front of me, and she had this big, beautiful wooden cane, right? She was probably like 5'4" or something like that, but the cane was taller than her, right? It looked like something like a big staff from, Ten Commandments or whatever. And when she turned around, you could have sworn she would like turn around in slow motion, and it was her. To be out of the wheelchair, it was just like somebody just squeezing your heart, right? But to see someone go from wheelchair to where they're at now, I have people looking at me, right? But it's me to look at seeing them and seeing their story. I was like, I gave her a big hug. Right. Today, we can't give too many big hugs, but definitely, it was a good moment for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then to know that, like you said, you fell a lot.
Yeah.
Because you didn't want the wheelchair.
No, I did not want the wheelchair. I wasn't going to take. I ended up donating that wheelchair to someone else.
You insisted on walking.
I insisted on it, and basically to have that mindset, because like I said, I got it from my father. He would have grandma's seizures or whatever, but like I said, he was my height, but bigger in muscle. But to have a man get up just get up after that and keep doing what they're doing in a manly way, that's where I grew from.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So in deciding to walk, do you think, and it probably is, do you think that's why you are walking now? Because you pushed yourself to say, I want to walk.
I did. I would say so. I would definitely say that he played a major part, even though he's not here, but in spirit, yes.
Right.
But that whole part, I remember I did a video on it. I recorded myself the first day I left my cane at home. Yes. And that in itself, because there was a time, I used to live about Medical Center, and I had to sometimes go to the store. And you would never know how many steps it takes to get across South Main to get to Walgreens.
Yes.
At a certain time, without people blowing at you or get out the way or this and that, right? So that in itself, just the basic thing, walking from point A to point B with a cane. There again, people looking at you a certain way because you in a cane, or you have a cane. But I remember one episode, I go to the crosswalk. This is South Main and Buffalo Speedway.
Right.
The light is red, and these people, I can see them staring at me because I'm standing with the cane. It's not. It dawned on me not until the light changed. My concern is not you looking at me or what you think of me. My only concern is me getting across that street.
Right.
Because after this light change, you have gone on with your life.
Right.
So my point is, my thoughts are not on you. My thought is getting across that street safely because you're going to go on with your life. Yeah.
And let's say that again. And the reason I say that, that's really, really a powerful message that you just said. Many people are doing that right now.
Yes.
Many people are struggling with that right now.
Yes.
That we're staring at people.
Yes.
Looking at them at a disability or homelessness or whatever it is.
Exactly.
And the goal is to get across the street safely.
That's it. As far as you wasting your mindset on what they think of you.
Yes.
Focus, put that energy, in which I did in my case, take that energy and use it to get to your destination.
Right.
Period.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Period. Point blank. And all of us that are actually the ones that are in the cars or something, need to be patient.
Exactly.
Because we could be in the same position.
And I say that because the first day I got a chance to do a test ride home after being in Meta for 3 months. imagine you being in the backseat of a car, your eyes cannot focus on anything.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, she had to drive slow.
Right.
To a certain speed. We get impatient now when we see people driving slow in front of us.
Right.
So, and it makes me think to myself, wait a minute, you don't know their situation.
Right.
So guess what? Either you recognize where you came from, what you done been through, and you know, just chill.
Yeah.
Instead of having some type of road rage or blowing the horn or trying to whatever, you're gonna get there regardless.
Right.
So yeah, you take those life experiences and use them throughout the rest of your journey.
Absolutely. We'll take a break and we'll be right back with Mr. Alton G. Cooper.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages. The Cam Hill Show. If you'd like to advertise your business or become a sponsor, contact thecamhillshow@gmail.com.
I'm a part of the Prenatal Care Club now, taking all my STD tests.
Did you know your doctor's required by law to test you 3 times for syphilis and HIV?
Yes, my husband and I are making sure I get all 3 tests.
Good. Testing is the key to preventing congenital syphilis.
And good prenatal care is your first labor of love.
Glad to hear your husband is so involved.
Thank you. Yes, taking all my STD tests for syphilis is important to both of us. My prenatal promise is to prevent a stillbirth or miscarriage. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
We are in this together now. Now we have the tools to overcome this challenge. Social distance, wash your hands, get tested, and wear a mask. And we will, I have no doubts, because I believe in we, better together.
Amazing things for you.
People, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? My favorite barbers, What's up, ladies? What's going on? Hey, I'm bringing this affirmation, man, this new shave serum, man. Listen, a 2-in-1 shave serum, all natural product, man, bamboo extract that help you with the pseudofolliculitis, and for layman's terms, that's the razor bumps that you got on your neck. It also has, man, the eucalyptus, and Mr. Otis, I know you can use some of that. I was in here last week, man. You cut one of your clients so bad, man, the dude needed staples. But no, seriously, hey, where did it? Who got the bottle? Hey, Big Nate, man, that don't work on your feet. Man, give me my bottle back. Man. Like I was saying.
Excuse me, does this work on ladies?
Yes, ma'am, it does work for ladies.
Can you show me how to use it?
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, how do we get it? lawslaboratory.com. If you want some. If you want some. If you want some.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month. Both for 39 monthlies with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 0.9% APR for 72 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. Ron Carter Cadillac.com.
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Thanks so much for coming back. Hey, we have Mr. Alton G. Cooper. We were talking about something, and I want to really bring this out because a lot of people that have had strokes before they're going through rehabilitation or they rehabilitated.
Yes.
They're driving.
Yes.
But many times they're profiled, they're pulled over
Yes.
by the police.
Correct.
The police will say, walk that straight line, and they can't do it.
No.
Equilibrium is kind of off.
The equilibrium.
You know? They'll say they're drunk on drugs or
Correct.
something else.
And I feel like one day I would probably have to show them a video of me going through therapy.
Right.
and that my, and being put in that particular machine that tests your balance, and that I'm not 100%. So if you were to ask me to say walk a straight line, now, clean and a million times sober, I couldn't walk that straight line. So because the equilibrium doesn't go back to its original state.
Absolutely. Another thing too is that there was a bill that was out where people were supposed to be wearing the bracelets. They're not looking at the bracelets.
They're not looking at the bracelet. It's where that in itself,
the medical
bracelet, because they're gonna just give you a visual overlook.
Exactly.
And that in itself, it's not a good thing.
Right.
For the ones that do go over and beyond to do more detail, I honor them.
Right.
Yeah, because if you just asking just a couple more questions, fine. We'll get this all solved, but just not to, really go into detail.
Speech impaired?
Yes. Oh, please.
Especially when somebody is coming aggressively towards you, you're trying to think, you're trying to position yourself, you're trying to get your thoughts together, and then you get mixed up, you're speaking differently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting your thoughts together, just for me to...
Having brain surgery.
Yeah. To conversate with you right now, because I know how I used to be.
Right.
Speech-wise. Stuff come out smoothly.
Right.
Because I feel that it still comes in a delayed reaction. My vision is in a delayed reaction.
Right.
I still bump into doors.
Right.
Well, door frame that is, right? Where that my eyes doesn't pan smoothly from right to left.
Right.
So it pans from had this diagnosed by a neurologist, ophthalmologist. So your eyes click like a clock.
Right.
So there's a delay between the next click, and before you know it, everything gets in a delayed reaction, such as you're stepping, you're turning, this and that. So, but when you're sitting down, you're fine. But if you were and these are the things that you would not notice until I pointed them out to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If we have ourselves and we're sitting there with our friends, and our friends, maybe their face kind of droops or something, or something happens, what should we do?
I would
because the person really doesn't probably know what's happening.
No, they don't, because you have to really, you listen and you pay attention to their speech, because you will listen and you will see their mouth, droop or whatever.
Right.
But they're become very fatigued.
Yes.
And their arm, because my arm my left hand used to be in a clutch position. But you pay attention to those details, but the first thing you do is 911.
Right.
The quicker the response, the quicker the help will be.
Okay.
Because basically, if you do not get the proper help in the proper time, it can be basically fatal.
Right.
Or you can be long-term, wheelchair bound or whatever. But there again, for me, I was blessed in so many different ways.
Wow. What about high blood pressure?
It plays a part. It definitely does, because I recently looked up that information. Just to name the definition of the word aneurysm, there's so many things to look out for, and that's one of the things I did not get to prevent the aneurysm is the proper test.
Yes.
I was feeling this, I was feeling that. I couldn't stand bright light, this and that. I had headaches. So I go to the doctor. They do all the tests, but the correct one, which was the MRI. Right? If they had done the MRI, they would have saw something on the brain that could have prevented it. And that's what they did in 2010. So in 2010, after recovering from the brain aneurysm, they saw something else on the brain. So that's when they screwed the metal device into my skull,
right,
and bolted down to the table to do a brain radiation treatment.
Right,
Yep.
right. That was in 10.
That was in 10, but definitely I was tell a person, definitely have your loved one. I know Sinbad made a joke about it, but it's true. If you have someone around you where that they take notice in your health, definitely 911 is the first step.
911.
911. Do not do the man version. and say, "Oh, well, I'm gonna go to the doctor tomorrow," whatever.
Right.
You prolong it, you may not be able to prolong it.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the cutoff of the oxygen from the brain.
Correct. And for me, with the blood vessel, the blood it was bleeding on the brain, and say that to find out the function of the brain in that type of way,
Yes.
it's literally mind blowing.
So we're just walking around. Some of us got
Oh,
headaches. Don't know we have blood pressure. We're eating everything. We said, "Oh yeah, we have headaches all the time."
Yeah, and the blood
That's
pressure.
just common.
Yeah, the blood pressure can play a major part in it because I watch my sodium intake now, right? Yeah, I used to. I mean, you living alone, you eating single life, whatever. You try to want something quick. Back in the day, just a can of Wolf Brand chili. Man, I had one of those after the brain aneurysm. Almost had another one. Because the sodium
is what, 1,700?
It's 17 to 2,000. And
just in that one can.
The one can, and that's with water.
That's with water.
So no, I wouldn't. I would definitely say pay attention to your health, what you eat.
Right.
I'm not perfect, but I do watch what I what I put in. I still love certain type of foods and this and that.
Yeah.
I was blessed in the beginning to be nursed in a way where that the food that I was given was to help me get better. It healed me, right? But your diet plays a major part.
Right.
In your eating and drinking plays a major part on you avoiding having an aneurysm.
Wow.
Right. So you do your family history. You find out, if it runs in the family.
Right.
Right. But definitely it comes down to your next step. It's your diet.
Right.
You choose not to. You think you're just gonna go on living your life, because like in 2002, I thought I was over with. God, like I said, God has a sense of humor. It's like, oh,
right.
You didn't listen?
Right.
Okay. Come back in 2007. I'm gonna sit your butt down for real now, and set you on the path what you need to be. So, but there again, you can't go back at there and continue to do what you was doing before. And yeah, I'm hard headed. I have a soft butt, but get there again. I listen now. Yeah.
Okay. Look into the camera. What would you like to leave with the viewers?
I would definitely say, do not ever give up on where you at. Excuse me. Meaning to say that take this opportunity to say, I can do what I enjoy doing versus doing it for someone else. You can go out there and create beautiful things in many different ways. Say that as art, music, poetry, working with kids, helping someone. Because my talent is to give what I'm able to give from my gift, basically. Take my gift and give it and share it. One of my best happiness is working with kids through art. So definitely take what you have and share it with the world.
Absolutely, that's great. How can people get your art?
And you can definitely get my art from my website and myself at www.altongcooperart.com, or you can reach me at 832-987-8606, and my email will be linked in as well.
Sounds good. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you for having me here.
Man, this was a good interview. I appreciate you, my friend.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you. Thank you to Mr. Alton G. Cooper. He is the best. Look him up. He gave you the information. Buy his art. Beautiful stuff. We will see you 12:30 to 1:30 Central Standard Time. See you then. Bye.